Yeah.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holding Court with the Empress of West Hollywood. My name's Enoch Miller, your Empress of WeHo, and we're so excited to have you here today! Yes. We want to give a special thank you to GayLifeLA.com for helping put on this every week, as well as Kings Road Apartment Homes for this lovely space you see here today. And we have an amazing guest, Miss Debby Holiday!
Yay!
Singer, songwriter, performer, music legend.
Yes.
I mean, you just you know and do everything when it comes to music, and so it's so exciting to have her here. I got the joyous pleasure of seeing her at the Stoli Key West Cocktail Classic.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Patrick likes to give mouthfuls, let's say that. It was an amazing performance. She was there at the Abbey with that, and you toured with them actually through, was it 13 different cities?
I didn't go to all the cities,
Okay.
but I was in San Francisco and Key West, and did I go to San Diego? I think so.
She's like, which one did I not go to?
I travel so much. This is my second year working with them, and then I'll be in D.C. for the handoff of the finale in 2 nights.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a really great, what they do is they kind of get all these different bartenders to kind of battle it out. And then each one has a winner from different cities, and they go to represent their community in that cocktail classic, and then they battle it out
and
for the finale.
It's such a powerful, it's an inspiring. You see people who literally the first night are shaking. Have never, it's performing.
Yeah.
You're doing a cocktail, but you're being judged on it.
Exactly.
And then by the end, where they're like, I got this.
Yeah, and some of them get
it's
really
very cool.
creative, and they put on a really fun show,
Yeah.
and a lot of them get really goofy with their drinks or their costume, and kind of make it this whole thing. So the crowd loves it, everyone else loves it, and I mean, we do appreciate Stoli for doing this because, first of all, it's great awareness for the LGBTQ plus community, but also it makes it so much fun for all these different communities coming together.
And there's a $10,000
and there's money involved,
and it goes to charity.
Yeah, to the local charity of that, whoever the winner is, their choice.
So it's really amazing.
Yeah, they're really good about giving back. An amazing shout out to Patrick Gallagher for all that, because he puts it up there, and she is fabulous. If you don't ever want to miss out on the most beautifully created and crafted costumes you will ever see, he has them, and they are
story.
And I mean, sequins for days, and that girl is always turned out. So go check those out. But Debby, with you, I'd like to get started at the very beginning. And you're an LA girl, born and raised.
Yeah.
Originally, you were out Studio City area.
No, I actually was raised in Beverly Hills.
Oh, in Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
Oh, Beverly Hills.
Streets of Beverly Hills.
Okay. The slums of Beverly
I went
Hills.
to Harvard Westlake, I slummed it.
It was so hard.
It was so hard. But my daddy was crazy, so it all.
Party, and that's the best way to have it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, your dad was involved in music and he almost
very
his whole
successful.
life. Yeah, very successful.
Yeah.
And kind of, what was that like for you growing up in such a musically charged environment?
Crazy.
Simple, crazy. What was some of your early remembrances of being around the music industry with your dad?
I have this. I tell this in my one-woman show. And my dad used to have, as musicians like to do, they like to have, I called them sleepovers.
Okay.
When everyone's, too drunk or to go home, I'd end up, it'd be in my little, Harvard Westlake prep school outfit, climbing over people to kiss my dad goodbye. Because I always had to kiss him goodbye. You have to remember that. And, I'd be climbing over Etta James and members of Tower of Power. Yeah.
Okay. So I could okay.
I don't like to party.
I was going to say, those people were notorious for party animals.
Alcohol and booze everywhere, which is probably why I'm so not that person. You rebel your parents, and that's what I did.
It's just I went on the straight and narrow.
Totally.
And so, in this industry, were you just kind of oversaturated in the very beginning with it? Did you know you were I want to avoid everything with music? Okay.
I took French in high school.
Oh wow.
I grew up in Los Angeles, and I took
right.
Brain trust. I took dance classes. I did everything to stay away from music. It was going to be about
and that's what you went to college for too, as well. Was you did dance in college? And when were you kind of the mindset changed to where you're oh my god, I have this talent?
It's. I think a lot of people don't want it when they grow up in their parents' shadow. They try to do something different.
Definitely.
So my dad wrote "Put a Little Love in Your Heart," and all these huge hits for Ray Charles,
Right.
and All I Ever Need Is You for
Right.
Sonny and Cher,
Right.
Dottie West, and
Yeah.
and gold records and platinum records,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to be a dancer, and I was having some issues with, I call her my faux mother, not my birth mother.
Oh, okay.
My faux mother, and a friend had left a guitar at our house.
Oh, wow.
And I picked it up and started playing, and it was like
Boom.
Lord, walk up there. Like it's like the universe was preaching to me, and I never put it down.
There was a choir that popped up behind
Yeah.
it, like, sing,
Yeah.
hallelujah.
Yeah. So and they're like, oh no.
So when you're finally, you realized your passion, you realized, I mean, it is your calling in life. What were kind of your inspirations for kind of where you wanted to do your music outlet in? I mean, obviously you didn't want to do country or anything like that, or like.
Well, I was raised
rock.
around a lot of different kinds of music though, which is great because my faux mom was a classical pianist.
Oh, wow.
And my dad loved, R&B and soul and
Right,
pop.
right.
And all my friends at school loved rock and roll. So
Of course.
I had Alice Cooper and Bette Midler and David Bowie was my
Okay.
biggest influence.
Okay.
So I had a lot of different, which is why my music, I just finished a double record that is half rock and half dance because I love them both so much.
And you have, I mean, a lot of your music kind of leans more towards dance and electronic, and you kind of have this really fun vibe that kind of mixes with it, which is why it does so well on the club scene because a lot of people can dance and like it flows with the beat. And so many DJs you've had come and remix them, like Tony Moran, Hector Fonseca. I mean, lots of people have come and remade them, and it's absolutely amazing. What's it like working with a DJ to remix your song? Because I know it's your baby. It's your baby.
It's trippy. Because the first song, so Dive, was
2004.
2004.
Right.
Thank you for saying that. Someone comes to me like, girl, that's from 1994. I'm like, no,
No.
it was 2004. Don't make me older than I am. It was a rock song. It was funny though because I had a rock band. It was signed to Warner Brothers.
Oh, wow.
And my band never wanted to play Dive live.
Yeah.
They're like, it's just kind of dancey. And I'm like, a few years later, like, yes, it is. Yeah, right? And someone had told me I couldn't do something, and I was pissed off about it, so I wrote the song, and it was sort of on a record, and nothing really happened with that record after I got dropped from Warner Brothers, and my friend, rest in peace, Andrew Briskin, said to me, that'd make a great dance hit. And I was like, what, a remix? What is that? So, and some drunken stupor, had no idea who Chris Cox was.
That is
sent
amazing.
it to Chris Cox, and then I just sent the stems, my vocals, and I got it back. What the original Dive is Chris Cox's first try.
Wow.
Like, he didn't say, because nowadays, now that I know what I'm doing, I'm like, I don't really like bar major number. Now I just got this back, and after sending the vocals, he turned it into something completely different.
It's absolutely amazing. And then because of that, too, number 5 on the dance charts in 2004. I mean, first of all, that's amazing. What was your initial reaction when it came back like that? Were you just completely flabbergasted?
It was such a whirlwind. It was such a great, great time. We didn't really exactly know what we were doing.
Okay.
We just knew we wanted to put a record out with some positivity and have as many people on the planet hear it.
Yeah.
And when you have Andrew Briskin as your partner doing that, you're just like, activate, in the wind. He's as hyper as I am. So I played everywhere. In the beginning, I played for free.
Oh, wow.
And not anymore.
No. She get that coin, girl.
Because there were so many singers, too, that don't actually sing their stuff as much live.
Right.
So I had to go out in the dance market and prove that, no, it's actually me.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it. Okay.
Yeah, so we just flew everywhere together. The first step was San Francisco. God, it's closed now, and I can't remember the name. It was this huge, great club.
Okay.
Chris Cox was spinning. I didn't even really know it was already a hit. And I walked to see, I'm getting misty thinking about it. And it came on, and there were all of these arms in the air. It's a great big whoa. And everyone's like, dude, and I'm like, wow. It was such a moving experience because, the club scene can be,
brutal.
And
freaking brutal.
It can have its party vibe.
Yeah.
And it was great seeing this room full of shirtless men
Trust.
singing this positive anthem
And you were on a roll. I mean, even right after that, because then you followed it up with Half a Mile Away, which was again top 10. Then you had Bring It On, which came out right after that as well. Again, top 10 as well on that. Yeah. And then not even long after that, you had Piece of My Love and Surrender Me. Yeah. Again, top, and Tony Moran, I think, helped with one of the... With Surrender Me. With Surrender Me, that's what it was.
Piece of My Love was the only one that was completely me.
Yeah.
And that ended up being placed in the L Word. I was very...
Oh, really? Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, this great, passionate scene, too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it's just like hit after hit after hit, and it's like when it started kind of going and the success and everything when did it actually hit you? You're like, oh my God, I made it?
I did never.
Never? You're just like, I still gotta keep making it?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, because I think that's true with any artist, because, I go back and hear mixes, and I'm like, oh, I wish I'd done that, and I wish I'd done that.
I see what you mean.
And, even if you play a great show, it's, I have this joke that, what have you done for me lately? That's what have you sung for me lately? It's like, what's your next hit?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Right.
What are you doing now? So there's really no resting on the laurels and going like,
definitely.
just like chill.
Yeah. And so
plus, I don't know what else I do with my life, so this is what I do. Anyway.
True. So. And for you, what is your, give us a little insight into your creative process, because I know everyone has their own way of coming up with stuff. For you, when you're coming up with a song or an idea, like how do you kind of like put it together, and then from actually creating it to like words and vocals and everything, kind of what's the steps you take in order to make it
different every time.
Okay, so it's
depending on
who
you're working with. Like I tend to write acoustic stuff with a guitar.
Okay.
I write a lot of it with my friend Jeff Fedak, who I've been writing with for like 15 years. We tend to just sit down with an acoustic.
Okay.
If it's a ballad.
Okay.
Because it's more about the melody.
Right.
I just started working on something with Scott Eisenhower that I wrote Joyful Sound with.
Oh, okay. That was
Scotty K.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because that was around the same, like close in the early 2000s as well. That you did that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was was it 2009 or? Yeah, it might have been 2000.
Oh, it was closer to 2010. Okay.
Confused.
She's done so many.
Some are on my label, and then I've had others that are on other people's labels. So I've got something like 17 releases. So
oh my gosh.
Lack of sleep, too.
That's what publicists are for, to keep track of that for you.
Exactly. So I just started working on something with Scotty, and he just sent me a track.
Oh, wow.
And said, come up with something. We talked about it, where we wanted to go. We wanted to do something fun and up and different, and a little funky.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll just like immerse myself with a lot of funk music.
Okay.
And go like, oh, okay, because I love so many different styles. Everything from, heavy metal to dance to Barbra Streisand.
Okay.
So depending on what I'm trying to write, I'll listen to that realm for a little bit and kind of get into it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And get in that mindset.
But then when it comes out of my voice, it doesn't sound anything like that.
I would actually love to see her as a headbanger. That'd be kind of freaking hilarious.
Come down to the Ultimate Jam Night, Tuesday nights on Sunset at
the
Whiskey.
At the Whiskey? Okay. Yeah. Usually around what time?
I'm usually on around 10:15, 10:30.
Oh, that will be fun.
Soundgarden and STP and...
Oh, yes. Okay, we have to make a note of that. Yeah. That's going to be fun.
Those are my roots. My roots are heavy.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so exciting, because I used to be the only, weird little white kid sitting there with a bunch of these headbangers going, heavy metal.
Oh my God, that was me.
And I'm just sitting there, and everyone else is in black and goth and, piercings, and I'm just there in my Abercrombie and Fitch. And I'm just like, yeah. And they're like, are you at the wrong place? The gay bar's down the street. I'm like, I know, but I'm here.
And I was the opposite. I was all the girls wanted to be little ballerinas and princesses for Halloween. I was like Alice Cooper, Bowie one ear.
Oh, that would have been cool. Did you color your hair orange?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I was a little different.
Speaking of different, you have a very amazing following from the LGBTQ plus community, and I mean, very much like Martha Wash, you guys have so much love back to the community as well, and you just have this great relationship. Did it kind of organically begin, when you first started coming out? Was it all just all of a sudden, all these gay guys were like, oh my God, we love you? Or was it a kind of a progression?
Well, I've always had gay friends since I was a little girl.
Okay.
My first best friend Skip Goodman. Skip, if you're watching, hi baby.
Ah.
He's in San Francisco now.
Okay.
He just ended up being my best friend, and but I've always had lots of different friends. I wasn't a clique girl.
Okay.
I refused to be a clique girl. Because everything in my school was about cliques and
it's still like that.
And it's like, no, I don't go there. And I just wanted to be friends with everybody, and I was. I think when you don't give a shit, I didn't care if they were my friend or not. I'm just going to be me, and that kind of naturally goes with the LGBTQ community. That like you have to just be you regardless, and I think that's probably the attraction. Yeah. That like I don't really care what you think about me. Right. Or if you do have some feelings about me, I'm going to stand strong and be me. And I think there's so many people. I mean, there are blonde white girls who like don't have are what's the word I'm trying to look for? Are discriminated against because they think they're dumb. Right. Or like everyone has this shell that people try to decide is something else. Exactly. So and growing up, you know, in a predominantly white school and being like the only heavy metal, you know, black girl, I know what it's like to be odd. Oh yeah. I'm half black, half Irish. Grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. Wow. Gefilte fish every Friday. You know,
Enigma. And so with the, because I mean, God knows how many prides you've been at and performed at. I mean, I can't even count. I looked at the list and it's endless. It's endless. And it's like, and again, it's every year you go back. What out of all your travels to different LGBT pride festivals, what's kind of like one you usually like to go to a lot? Or there's like one that has like a really great thing you like about it?
I have to say two. I just did Seattle.
Seattle Pride.
And
okay.
There's just such a great. It's you know Egan Orion who runs it, and Amy and Kendall, and there's just like a group of people that like just hug you the moment you get there. Amazing. And that experience is always great because it's just run so well. Yeah. My favorite one ever was New Orleans Pride. Oh, really? It was right after the Pulse shootings. Oh, okay. When I did it, and they were petrified that people weren't going to come out and support. Yeah. That people were going to be too afraid to go support a gay event. Right. And not only, God, I'm getting misty again. Not only did they come out, it was their biggest crowd. Wow. We turned the corner onto Bourbon, and like everybody on my float, we all started crying. Wow. Like everyone came out. And I ended up doing my dad's song, Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Wow. And I walked out into the audience and sang to people, and I realized that it was not a gay crowd. Yeah. It was everyone. Older straight couples, and I mean it was everyone was welcome, and we're all here to support each other.
And that's what's so great, and especially from our allied community that really did step up for those instances where they were just like, we're going to be with you hand in hand, supporting you. And I mean, you were a beacon of light for straight allies that really just show that you just, like you said, you're proud of just being who you are, but also you just love and support everyone else. Everyone. And especially us, it's like, it's always hard to try and be out there and for us to feel like we're accepted, but I mean, it's just every day you just live and support us, and it's just always like, and every time you'll see her, she comes out, she's like, hey baby, she's like, oh gosh. It's so sweet, and it's just that smile's infectious, and it's just you always
end up definitely a reluctant diva.
Really? Yeah. Reluctant? Okay.
Well, the whole idea of this, like, you know, I'm over here and you're over there.
No, yeah.
I like the idea of sharing.
Yeah, and don't think that, like, you come to any kind of concert or thing, if mic problems, music problems, she can sing without any of it. We had a little, there was the event she was at a chapel where there's a little snafu with a zip drive that wasn't just wanting to cooperate, and she's like, screw it, I'll just sing it. She just sang the whole song, and we're just
Make it work, people.
We're all sitting there going, what? Like, what? And I can see why you were saying before, that you had to go around to these clubs and like have to prove to them that this was you singing, because I can see how like it's, I mean, first of all, it blows you away. You girl got pipes. She could vocalize from here to Timbuktu, and you'll hear her in China. So it's it's impressive. But yeah, I can see why. I mean, people are just like, that can't be her. And then you show up and they're like, what? So with getting to perform, because you've done a lot when it comes to performance, not just on the actually being up there promoting yourself. You've worked with a lot of artists to help do their vocals, help do different aspects of headlining for them. What do you find has been like the most challenging thing working with another person while still trying to be authentic to yourself as an artist?
I don't really have a lot of challenges working with other people. The hardest thing for me is actually what I do the most of, which is go on stage by myself.
Oh, really?
Because I'm so used to bands.
Oh,
I was in a band with Lita Ford. I sang with Rod Stewart, John Waite. So my own band is like a 7-piece band.
Wow.
So and it's funny. I just booked Palm Springs Halloween.
Okay.
And I'm doing both my dance music and my full band.
Ooh,
That's
that'd
like
be cool.
the best. That's the. Because it's so much easier to bounce off energy,
That's true.
than to be on stage
You
by
having
yourself.
to do it all on yourself.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I can
like
see
everything you do is under a microscope. Like she's drinking water, she's sitting down, she's rigid. Like every article, everything is so microscopically viewed. And then when you're with a band, you get to sort of like play off the energy. And if I'm having a little bit of a low, they throw you energy. And, but you have to get it from the audience, and only the audience, if you're by yourself.
And you're kind of just like,
Yeah, with other people, it's always effortless.
Okay.
Because the moment you hear, I can be exhausted. The moment I hear a drum beat or a guitar hit, or I hear the backups, I'm in.
Okay, so I see that. I mean, especially too because the fact that you're such a people person, and you thrive off that.
I do.
Just all that energy around you and everyone else being around you, and I'm totally the same way. It's like it's so much easier to do that for sure when you're like that. I could like list off every song and be here for like 6 days. For when you go through all of it, and you're doing your music, what's like. Is there one that you pick out where you're like, oh my gosh, I love doing these more when you have a CD like set together and you're like, I'm doing out promoting them like this specifically? Or do you kind of like have your set, oh, this is kind of a few that I work with throughout your whole set for that? Or like how do you kind of structure that when you're going out to perform?
It just depends on the venue.
Okay.
Because I just did Off Sunset, like 3 months ago now in Silver Lake. And it was a very rockin' crowd.
Okay.
So I pulled out my rock stuff for the band, and it was great. I do a show in Puerto Vallarta at Act 2 Stages called The Queens of Rock, and there's like I get to belt out Tina Turner and Bette Midler, and that's really fun too. I kind of get to go into a character.
Oh, that's fun.
So I don't really have a tried and true. Sometimes I get asked.
Okay.
Like it'll be in my contract that I have to do dive and joyful sound, and it's like, oh, I'll do that.
I'll do that. So it really you just have your your wheelhouse of everything, and you just like grab and choose from whatever works.
And especially since I perform so much, it's great to be able to like reach into the graphic and do a bunch of different things.
And you do a lot of covers as well, like you were mentioning. Is there some of those? I mean, obviously the rock kind of sings more to your heart than the others. Is there any ones that you kind of usually like to go to first? That you really are like, oh, this is like, I don't know.
Bette Midler, Stay With Me is kind of a staple.
That's a good one.
It's a staple. Yeah, it's a if you want to wake up the crowd.
That's true. It's gonna get them moving.
And then anything Tina Turner, like Proud Mary. I tend to go back to the old school divas because the vocals are they match my tone. Especially as I've gotten older, I've got a lot of tritones. So there's a lot of like in there. So yeah.
That guttural where you're just
I'll leave the soft stuff for other people.
And so like for you being in the music industry as long as you have, with the evolution of everything that's gone with music, what do you think has been kind of the biggest shift in the industry for artists nowadays that where before it used to be maybe something like I've seen a lot more artists doing now individual EPs or individual releases or always having a video with every music they put out. Like what do you see for you has been kind of the biggest change from what it was when like you and your dad was performing to where it is today?
Biggest change is record sales.
Okay.
People aren't purchasing records anymore. And of course that's been happening for a long time, but it's severely affected, especially the independent artists.
Yes.
Bigger artists get placements. You know, have an easier time getting their song on television shows and in films, and that's where the publishing money is, especially if you're a songwriter. Okay. But if you're not doing that as much, I've been fairly fortunate and had some decent placements. But if you're not doing that at all, and you're only a vocalist and not a songwriter, the days of making money off of record sales is gone.
Wow.
You know.
And it's like all online, basically.
Yeah, and it's a bit heartbreaking to me. I know it's the norm now, but it's still. I've always, AKA'd it to like walking into a market and just saying like, oh, here's some bread. I'm just gonna pick this up and take it home.
Oh, geez.
Because you're forgetting about the person that grew it,
right?
And the truck driver that got it there,
right.
And the person that handles it and stocks it. Like there's a whole lot of people to get it to that shelf.
Okay.
And the same thing is true for music.
Wow.
You know,
that's true.
I pay my players,
right?
Because they deserve to be played because they've spent their whole life creating music,
right?
And sometimes giving up a lot to do that.
No, definitely.
So it's not just like, oh, here, threw this out in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it deserves to be paid for.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it is anymore, and that's been devastating, especially when companies like, play your music, and they're charging the consumer
right.
to listen,
right.
but we get an eighth of a minuscule part of a penny
right.
for each play.
Wow.
So
and that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then kind of in the same realm of that, for you individually as an artist, what kind of either mindset or kind of personal changes have you had to make in how you did things when you first started, like in 2004, to now that you've really had to kind of adjust your way of either producing yourself or putting something out there that you've had to kind of shift with the industry as it's been changing?
Quality control, for
okay.
one thing. Like I got really lucky. My first mix came from Chris Cox.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like so, my bar is pretty high on sound quality, and sometimes I'll get a mix and I'll have to say no, this isn't good enough, and upset people and sort of like be the boss. And that part's not fun.
Okay.
And also staying positive.
Yeah.
Because
I can imagine.
It's a really easy place for people to be naysayers, and new people come in and are like, it's really easy to be yesterday's news.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily consider trying to stay fresh and copy someone else because I just have to keep being me.
Well,
and
exactly.
Reinventing the best me I can be.
Right. Right. Definitely.
And I think that's true of anyone. I think it's just really important to keep going back to your own core. Yeah.
I totally can see that, and again, being a business person in general, a lot of people don't realize you're singer-songwriter, also businesswoman on the flip side as well, making sure you're again keeping your business running.
Contract reader, booking agent sometimes, there's so many different hats. It's like.
And so when you first got into it, doing that, because I don't think a lot of people actually really, like you said, all the people that are involved, plus all the work that goes on not just financial, but on a business standpoint. What was kind of one of the biggest things you had to go like, oh my gosh, I really wish I had learned this early on, so that way I was prepared a little bit better when I first started getting into it?
I have to say I'm pretty lucky because I was signed to Warner Brothers.
Right.
And I grew up.
One of your
exactly. In the business, I grew up literally reading contracts at 8 and 9. And 10.
Oh wow.
And I saw what they did to my dad.
Gotcha.
He gave
so you knew what to look for.
Publishing.
Yeah.
And I've never given away my publishing.
Wow.
So I've always been kind of, even when I got signed, I had like a 35-page contract to Warner Brothers, and I redlined it myself.
Oh wow.
Even though I had a powerful attorney, I just learned, by what not to do.
Right.
My parents were very good examples.
But that's honestly very few people get that kind of opportunity to actually kind of at an early age really vet these things out and see the whole firsthand see what not to do.
Yeah, and then my mom ended up working for Motown for many years.
Oh wow.
So I got to hang out with the Gordys.
Oh.
And I learned a few things.
Yes, I can imagine. Oh my gosh!
I'll leave the rest of that one alone.
And also, what I also find really encouraging about the industry lately too is you're starting to see a lot more female artists and a lot more of a gear towards that. LA Pride this year was very focused on female artists and performers, and really kind of wanting to show women empowerment for this year's Pride, and kind of give that as not overall theme, but as a kind of general theme through it. For female artists, do you find that the industry is getting less sexist and really kind of embracing more women and trying to?
Nah.
Damn. I was hoping they'd progress, but apparently not.
Yeah, I still have to fight the same way sometimes for whether it's the pay that I deserve,
Right.
or you know, to not be told like, here's what we're gonna do. Like, no, it isn't what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. You know,
You're like, it's my way.
Yeah.
My way.
Yeah. Have you met me?
And so it's pretty much like has it shifted any at all, or is it's still pretty much the same since you started into it?
I feel it's a little less,
Like me?
less much, but it depends on what part of the world you're in,
Oh,
what part of the
that's
country you're
right.
in, what part of, like it literally depends on the mindset. I find that younger people, millennials, tend to. I work with a guy named Derek Day who seems to have zero about anybody, just no judgment, no nothing,
Okay.
no. So I
can
feel
see
like
that.
millennials are on a better path. When I deal with people my age, 40 and up,
Mhm.
they're still a little bit set in this is how it's going
Right.
to go. More in the rock world than in the dance world.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
I can kind of see that. It's kind of like a boys' club
they're
in that.
Oh my God, you sing rock and roll? Oh my God, that's so crazy. How do you do that?
How I sing, bitch.
Who do you think invented it?
Right?
Oh my god, that's too funny.
A bunch of black people singing the blues, and they electrified it.
Like, duh. It's like heritage. Like, have you not learned your history?
Did you not know Led Zeppelin got sued many times?
Right.
That's too funny. Oh my gosh. It's just like,
Sorry.
no, it's just perfect. I'm just like,
I'll go off on a tangent.
oh,
on
but
that
I
one.
love it. Oh my
It
gosh.
still happens. It still happens. I was
It
at a
does.
party this weekend, and they're like, "So, do you like jazz, R&B?" And I'm like, "I love jazz and
Mhm.
R&B, but I sing, anything from heavy metal to dance." They're like, "Heavy metal?" Yeah. So there's still it's partially being black and also being a woman.
Right.
That's like kind of a dude thing.
I can see. I can see that whole like mentality with it. Because it's just like people are special.
Yeah, boxes.
Yeah, and I think it's true. I mean, it's unfortunate a lot of times they're just so used to labeling everything and needing to label it
Right,
all, and
right.
so based on that
Yeah.
preconception, they're like, oh well, since this has been checked off in my head,
Yeah.
you obviously have to adhere to
And the
these
most
standards.
beautiful thing in the world is not fitting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like let's face it, all of our icons and legends
Mhm.
don't fit. They usually don't fit into a box, and that's why we love them.
Yeah.
Because they're, just free to be. Name of my record.
Yeah. Promotion.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask you about the nightlife industry because obviously you go and perform at a lot of gay clubs because we're like a little bit crazy there. Just a bit. We love our parties. But the nightlife scene, I've talked to a lot of people and they say how much it's shifted and changed and it's becoming a little bit more of a less of an issue where you're like it's gay bar here, straight bar only here, and no one else goes to either one unless they're part of that group.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's starting to blend a lot more, and you have a lot more just everyone coming. Do you start seeing that shift a lot more when you go out to perform at some of these local gay bars, and
I
then
do.
it just being everyone?
I do. I see, which is great.
Yeah.
I think the only bad thing, and not bad, wherever, I don't want to mean to judge it, but I feel like there are also a lot of gay bars that have closed recently in the
Okay.
past 2 to 5 years. A lot of them have closed, like San Francisco and New York, and places that were kind of prominent places I would play. And so I do feel that there's more of a melding.
Okay.
That's good. Could be a little bit more. We're still
Yeah.
We ain't at the top of that mountain yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're still climbing.
It's still coming. Yeah.
Do you see that the acceptance from, because I know a lot of the gay community around here are they've been kind of torn. Some of them love having all their allies here, but some of them wanted to remain true that they want it to still be a gay bar. Do you see them fighting that still, or do you feel like it's like even the gay community is being less prejudiced against other people that aren't necessarily part of the community to begin with?
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that was always a something truthful that I saw.
Okay.
That I personally experienced. I think like anything, you don't want to be in your home and have some people step in your home and be like, I don't like it in here.
Right.
You better be out then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
But I always feel like the gay community is pretty welcoming as long as you don't, it's a lot like the black community.
Yeah.
Like, come on in, but beware.
Yeah. Don't shit in my house.
Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me.
Yeah. It's like respect my home, basically.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
It's just because we've had that conversation a lot with people because it is true, and it's like sometimes I know the biggest complaint around here is when they have They don't mind their ally community showing up, but when you get these people that are like, especially the drunk bachelorette parties is the one they usually always go to as their key, and it's just like they come in and they're a wreck. And I think about my friends said
I
it
have
once.
seen that more than once.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you're just like, Orange County girls.
I'm a unicorn. Yes,
but
you are.
You do see that, and honestly, it's just. I mean, if you're gonna be drunk and disrespectful, period, girl, boy, any of it. I mean, go home. But yeah, I think it is. They're okay with it, but it's still just kind of like a lot of them are kind of like freaking out, like we're losing our gay identity, and it's like not really. We're just kind of being more a little bit just everyone and anyone, and you just come as you are.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see. It's just kind of it's interesting to see where the progression will be here in the next few years. But I'm definitely excited for the nightlife scene for you. What do you think's like kind of been the coolest thing to watch it evolve into for from like back in like maybe I'm not gonna say years back a while ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, like how like from what it was then, because I know it was very separate and different, and like nightlife for across the board, gay or straight, was so much more not like widely accepted, and you were almost looked at as like kind of a weirder person for going out at night and being out all night and like just rocking out and dancing.
I always feel like straight women have never had a problem with gay bars.
Right.
That's always a safe place to go dance.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
hang out with your boys and not be like accosted.
Yeah, and be like, oh, I could just like just get sweaty and not care.
Yeah.
And again, not be accosted. But I feel like straight men are having less of an issue with it. But again, you know, I live in LA.
Well, that's true.
You know, I live in Los Feliz. It's like hippie town.
Yeah.
It's like hippies that bathe, you know.
There is that clear distinction because they do shower once in a week.
You know, traveling is a different story. You
Yeah.
know, Del Shores is a really good friend of mine, and he'll still have his plays picketed, you know.
Wow.
So I think I have this lovely little bubble that, you know, and all my friends are, you know, open and accepting, and I travel and I'm like, you know, you see someone move over a little bit, whether it's me or a gay friend or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, you're not evolved yet. Okay.
Yeah. What do you what has been an area you've gone to where you're really like just like, oh my god, I'm kind of scared for my life right now?
Well, it's one of my favorite places to write is Nashville.
Ah!
Nashville, I get a lot of like, oh my god, I want to touch your hair. Can I touch your hair?
Do you want to die?
I get it all the time now. Just like I'll be in the market and someone just grabbing my hair.
Oh my gosh.
Old white ladies love touching my hair. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be racist, but it's true.
Oh, it's true.
I've got my southern accent to say I'm not racist, I swear.
I'm not racist, I'm racy.
Yeah, there's definitely still, you know, I hear the N-word there.
Oh, wow.
I was in a session once, and so, you know, you think you've come so far.
Right.
And it just depends on where you are.
Wow.
You know,
and that's not even outside the country. That's still here in the U.S.
And,
I mean,
you know, the first time I went to Australia, and God bless them, you know, I walked up and they weren't expecting me to sound like this.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's like, hi, Holiday. Let me try that again. Yo, my name's Holiday. I got a room and shit. You know, like, that would have, they'd be like, oh, thank you.
She's straight out of LA, ladies and gentlemen, not Compton.
It's just like so confusing.
And it's true. I mean, but it is. I mean, especially, and sometimes it's really. I've seen that before too, where it's like, especially in an area where they've never seen a black individual ever in their lives, and they do from TV or other sorts of media. They have this preconception of like, oh, she's gonna look and sound exactly like he is, and you come in like an actual normal human being, and
all should be normal.
Yeah.
Everything is normal. Like it's also, it shouldn't be like if a white person sounds like that,
right?
Maybe they grew up in South Central.
It's just it is what it is.
Whatever. It is what it is, not. Like you just are who you are. Sometimes it's who you hang around. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, I go to the South, I get a Southern accent. You know, so.
The twang comes out.
Yeah,
which I love. And again, it's really just that whole. I think we've come so far. We have so much further to go.
So much further.
And it really is just.
Lord, don't
that.
get me started on how we've done backslid.
Oh well, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that's like.
That's a whole nother Oprah. We don't have time.
That's a whole. Yeah, that's a whole other Oprah, and I can't say Beetlejuice enough because then it happens. Then she appears again and destroys it, pushes a button, and kills Korea. But yeah, we really, it's just, I am so excited to see it, and especially now too with the younger generation that's coming in. these young individuals that are first of all embracing sexuality like they've never have before. Like you said, like kind of people not really seeing you as anything, race, gender, color of any other kind, of just you as a person, and it's now just kind of being like, oh hey, and they just kind of judge you as you instead
it's how
of
you treat
all
other
that.
people to me that should be. That's my one judgment of people is how you treat others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's always, I know it's kind of a cliche kind of thing from the Old Testament Bible, but it's like, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and it really is. What you put out there is what people are going to
If you're going to open the Bible, you're going to have to read the whole thing.
From start to finish. It's just
and try to make sense of the stuff that doesn't always compute together.
Right, exactly. And then you can skip some of those parts in there that are just like the Book of Numbers, where it just reads off all the people and like where they came from.
Right.
Like that one you can skip. But
Everybody should be stoned by now. This kind of stone. That kind of stone.
Like, wait, which one?
The fun stone.
But for any advice you could give to younger artists starting out there that are like just either breaking into the industry or like looking to get into the industry, what's kind of like one piece of advice you could tell them that says like, pay attention to this, watch out for this, do this? Like, what would be one thing you could say to them?
Get a great attorney. Seriously,
That's
just
true.
get a really great attorney.
Yeah.
And don't let people change you.
Yeah.
Do not let people change you. I was signed to Warner Brothers for 5 years, and they did everything they could to mold me into something else.
Right.
And at the end of the day, this like mush that they tried to create didn't work because it wasn't really me.
Right.
And it was signed, and they gave me a bunch of money, and so I was like trying to be Gumby, musical Gumby for them, and it didn't really work. And I was a great, really fun time of my life.
Yeah.
I was able to open up for people like Joe Walsh,
Yeah.
and it was a great experience. And wrote with some amazing people. It was my first trips to Nashville.
Yeah.
Great songwriters, but I let them change me too much.
Okay.
And you can get soupy.
Oh, I see.
If you don't stay, and that's just like the same thing with being a human being.
Yeah. Be you and be authentically you.
Yeah. Don't get soupy.
Don't get soupy.
That's my advice. Don't get soupy.
I know you're going to be traveling like a freaking fiend coming up here soon. Where can people kind of see you next here in the LA area?
LA, well, the Ultimate Jam Night is kind of it's my rock phase. That's
Gotcha.
it, and I won't be there for about a month.
Okay.
But usually I'm there on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
And it's a great. I love the idea of people in a room experiencing live music together.
Yeah. Especially with our live music videos on Sunset dwindling. I think we have like what, 4 left, 3 left, something like that? 3 left.
3 that are really prominent.
Right.
All right, 4. There's a new one that opened up.
4-ish. Yeah.
And so there's that. And then for dance music, I travel a lot. So I'll be in San Francisco. Although that's not dance music, I'm doing a benefit in San Francisco on the 19th for Meals on Wheels and HIV awareness. And then I'll be at Palm Springs. For Halloween.
Right.
That is going to be a blast.
That should be fun.
I am looking forward to that. Out in the street making loud noises.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do when you do it. You guys can always go check out Debbie's website. We're going to do a quick little clip from a song that's coming out here, and it's the one that just came out the beginning of end of last year. This will be the first one on my label. It means a lot to me. It's called Waiting for a Lifetime.
Mm-hmm. It was written in 2015 for a couple who had been waiting for 17 years to get married.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
In North Carolina.
Jeez. Wow.
17 years. 2016, Law of the Land, which is great. We have a new possible SCOTUS.
Right.
Which means all those laws we don't know.
Yeah.
So Waiting for a Lifetime was written for anyone who feels like they've been waiting for their voice to count and to be heard and to make a difference and to just stand there proudly and say, this is my voice.
Mm-hmm.
No need to dampen it down.
Wow.
So it felt like it took on a different meaning because there are so many people. It's not just the LGBT community.
It
obviously includes.
Right.
But now with everything that's going on.
It's a lot. But it is. It reaches across so many different. Everyone. All of it. We're all affected by it. So I really love that.
Yeah.
But we do want to thank her so much for being here. We're gonna close out playing with this. But go check her out. It's Debby Holiday, Debby Holiday, like the holiday.
Yeah.
And you go to DebbyHoliday.com, and then all across social media, you can look her up on Debby Holiday as well.
Yeah.
It's just at Debby Holiday.
All
that.
my Twitter and my Instagram
Facebook, all up there. Yeah, and go check it out. But yeah, thank you so much for being here
So fun.
today.
Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. I love
fun.
it. It's great.
You're really good at this.
I've been doing it for a minute. I've had a little practice. Plus, I talk to myself a lot, so it helps. We're really good together. So, but we want to do thank you to GayLifeLA.com and for Kings Road Apartment Homes for everything you see here today. And here's the amazing Debby Holiday playing us out on Holding Court. Yes, Hunter. And it's a clip because you will have to go view it. So that's the whole thing. Anticipation.
Say it.
But we're really excited for next week, so tune in because we're going to have the stunning and always funny Mr. Bruce Valanche here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she loves her some Brucey, so
we spent a lot of time in Key West getting sticky together.
Phrasing. We'll let you guys figure that one out. But thank you again, and thank you to Debby Holiday. See you guys later.